You're listening to an East Coast Guild podcast. Check us out at eastcoastguild.com.
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? Welcome back to another wonderful and exciting Organization 2, the best podcast about Kingdom Hearts, not in my mother's basement. Yes, I think I'm going to make that our tagline.
Okay. I mean,
I think it'd be fun.
We can find a basement we can set up in.
Yeah, and we could just even then be like, it's not my mom's basement.
It's still true, but it's still a basement.
Yeah.
Where we get the best acoustics.
Right. I want to throw out there that I'm not saying that to poke fun at any other podcasts, because I found out there is another KH podcast that I found out about recently, and I don't know that they do it in their mom's basement. Like, that's not what I care about. I'm talking about specifically my mother's basement. Like, there is no podcast that is taken down there anymore because we started off there. So just before, I'm explaining it now. So because we're going to use the tagline, you guys have to understand why we're using the tagline.
I will forget about this tagline next time we record.
I probably won't. But
I'm not the smartest.
Anyway, that's why I do it. Those dudes actually, if you guys want to check it out, they have no idea that we exist, or they might know that we exist, but we don't post onto every platform yet. We're not streaming it and posting to YouTube and podcasting it.
Also, by the way, I'm Sando, and since
I'm getting there.
Oh, I said nothing.
God.
What's up, guys? I'm nothing.
So, but that's the Ansem Report. If you guys get a chance, go check it out. It is the longest running Kingdom Hearts podcast. I find that to be fairly true. They're at 82 episodes. Yes. We struggled with like 20.
Wait, 82 and they're doing one a week?
They do it once a week, it looks like.
Ooh.
That's why I wanted you to check it out, because I wouldn't mind getting in contact with those guys if we can get this to be a little bit bigger and maybe do a
collaboration,
crossover couple of episodes.
Nice.
Where we have, the same episode go out and we can get the audience to see a little bit more of us.
Nice.
But the two dudes, they look pretty cool. They do cool segment. They have it segmented. They are way better at it than we are.
I mean, anyone it really is at this point.
Yeah, if we sat down and we actually segmented and we actually took it seriously. But as I told my co-host Sando, by the way, hi, I'm Kill.
Hi, I'm Sando. I can say it now.
I did tell him I need him to pick up a little bit of the slack with it, but that's just because with teaching and stuff, it's a pain in the butt. Also, we turned off sponsorships because literally it was like the first minute and 10 seconds, everybody left.
I figured that's how it was going to go.
And I said, all right, then.
I mean,
goodbye.
To be fair, we're doing this for fun. We're not doing this as a, hey, we're trying to make money off of it. It's just, hey, we're interested in this, and we wanted to share with what we're doing.
Also, I'm going to be straight up honest with you guys. We've never hit 100 views on any of our podcasts, and we were getting paid $15 per 1,000.
Yeah, no.
So our total amount of listens across all platforms is like 470 something.
Yeah.
So if we're getting into the analytics, we really don't care. I'll give Sando a dime and we'll call it even.
It better be like fool's gold diamond. That's not a sentence.
A dime?
Oh, I heard dime. I heard diamond. And I was like,
I'm not giving
what?
you a diamond. You're not worth that to me.
I was about to say, just give me a piece of glass and make it shiny.
Right? I'll just give you a piece of quartz.
Ooh, I'll take that over glass.
Because quartz is nice.
Unlike
glass, you'll
me.
hurt yourself on. You would hurt yourself on glass.
Shh, we don't tell the public.
Yourself on the quartz too.
I mean, rocks are cool.
So welcome. I hope you guys are doing well. The way we like to segment the podcast currently, which we will probably change it and add things to it, because I think having more segments, maybe where we talk about like an Ansem report or a Xemnas report or a Xehanort report, would be kind of cool and only take a couple minutes. So that's something that we need to look at in the future. Meanwhile, I know I'm saying this and he's reading what's on his can. Guys, this is what I'm working with. I need you guys to like our socials, follow us, and tell us what you guys would like to hear in the Kingdom Hearts podcast world or anything like that. You guys have any questions for us that we could answer? That would be awesome. We'll gather them up. We'll do a whole video or a whole podcast on these questions, because literally I'm working with a dude who is reading a can over paying attention to what's going on in the podcast. I have half of a pizza and a can in front of me, and I've neglected both of them for the podcast, just so you understand where I'm at.
Like I said,
over to looking at Sando in a disappointed face.
Like I said before we started this, dang man, this can. That wasn't me just reading the can. It was just me being surprised and then reading the can and then getting called out for reading said can.
I just, I believed in you. I believed in you, and I realized that you saying that you're a demigod in that field right now.
Yeah, I think
we need to work on this.
I would say maybe not demigod at this point. Maybe definitely not peasant. I'm above peasant, which is a scary
we'll figure
thought.
it out later. That's not a conversation.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, so please hit us up on social media. Let us know what you guys want us to talk about. Are there any interesting theories or anything like that? Any interesting bits of trivia or questions that feel left unanswered? Which would have been a great thing for us to freaking look up. And of course, I'm figuring that out 5 minutes into the podcast.
Also, if you want, you can just ask us questions and be like, hey, does Sando actually know this stuff? Hey, of course we know
Does Kill know this stuff?
Does Kill know this stuff? It's
Probably.
like, Kill will know it more than I will, honestly. But at the same time, we'll be like, hey, Pop Quiz Sando, do you know what happened? What was the story behind this character at this exact point in the story? I'm like,
why
no.
didn't Mickey have a shirt on at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1?
Hey, man, you just got to let him be free sometimes.
Because in 0.2, it gets ripped off in the middle of a fight.
I know.
Which was Nomura covering his own butt to make sure that he didn't have a shirt on.
That still blows my mind.
It's so funny, but you never recognize it. You don't recognize it because it's such a thing that happens when you're a kid. All right, so we've got an interesting show for you guys today. But of course, the way we like to segment things is we generally like to talk about ourselves a little bit and then move on to the podcast stuff. But since I have 2 questions today,
which I had know nothing about.
He knows nothing about. I came up with them literally 5
and I'm
minutes,
scared.
5 seconds before the podcast. I was about to hit record.
I'm gonna read my can.
I have questions. So I think what we'll do is one question, then we'll check and see how each other's doing, how the week's been. I mean, we've been active on it, but to let them know how the week's been and what we've been up to.
Yeah, fair.
And then we'll go into the second question.
Ooh.
So,
what about the third question?
If I get to a third question, then I'll ask it.
Sweet.
So, again, completely off the cuff, Sando has not seen this question yet.
No.
Has not heard it, and knows nothing about it. My question is, what would make, if you took everything from the series, what would you do to make the best Kingdom Hearts game?
I don't like this question.
Because it's a good question.
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to eat some pizza while Sando answers this and has to talk, because otherwise it's going to be silent.
All right, so I was immediately going to ask you a question, and then you took a big bite of your pizza, so hold on.
I can still answer.
Okay. So are you meaning just story-wise or gameplay or?
Yes.
Dang it.
So
all right.
Is there a specific combat system that you liked? Would it be a mix of combat systems? Because I already know what my answer would be.
Yeah.
And then what story elements would you include that made it feel better? And so those could be plot hooks.
Mm-hmm.
Those could be, I can't think of the word, but switcheroos. Kind of like something that catches you off guard and you're like,
okay.
Egad. Oh my gosh.
What's it, the 1800s? Who is Egad? And what has he done with Kill?
Kill will be back momentarily.
No, he won't.
He's going to take another bite of pizza.
So if we're speaking, good job.
Let's start combat-wise.
All right. So combat-wise, I would say...
I swear to God, if you say a card system, I'm going to come over there and beat you.
How about we do a dice system like Duke Devil once? I take that back. He has now walked towards me. But it's a good reference for those of you who know it. Honestly,
a good reference.
I will say probably a mix of 2 and 3 because I really of 2 Final Mix and KH3. I do really enjoy the form boosts of 2. Not form boosts, the forms themselves of unlocking specific ones. Like you get the Valor from Goofy, Wisdom from Donald, Master, which is them combined, and Final, which is once you attain, what is it?
Final is a random one that's obtained. I don't know the lore behind it off the top of my head.
I can't remember which Keyblade you can get it off of.
To become one.
To become one, yeah.
You get it after reabsorbing Roxas.
Yeah.
So I guess technically You could view it as the fact that since Sora now has Roxas in him again, he has those nobody qualities, and he's at full power.
Mm-hmm.
So, final form is the strongest we have ever seen Sora up to that point.
Yeah, I would still have it set with that combat of having the forms, but in the case of limit form, because it's final mix style, before you can access final mix, say Sora goes through say he forgets amnesia and forgets what he did in the beginning, for instance, story wise. To access limit form, he has to go through Yen Sid and do like sort of a dreamscape sort of thing, like Dream Drop, but it's remembering what he did in the first early world. So like Monstro, Tarzan, Wonderland. You remember all those bosses, the specific princesses, whatnot, and after doing all that, you can get limit form. While it's still essentially limit form, it's not the best, but it's not the worst. And which can be used at any time because you don't need specific party members. Change that the way it is for combat, which you add a little bit of story elements to, which is nice.
So it's like having an additional side story, like a side quest. So you don't have it. You don't have to have it to beat the story.
You don't have to have it.
But it's like getting Ultima.
Yeah, you don't need to do it, but you get a little bit of like a reference to prior games, prior story, and everything, all the while getting extra stuff. It's not going to be. I mean, in reality, not a lot of people use limit form at the end of 2 final mix. A few like speedrunners do, but that's about it because they know how to use it that well. But like combat wise, I do enjoy. I do actually regarding my review of 3 final mix, not final mix of Remind. I do enjoy the movement of 3, like just the quick from one end to the other of the map. Which in combat wise, I would probably say have that be, go to Yen Sid and be, hey, I would like to get stronger. And either be a time lapse or you do a couple of special missions here and there. It's like, go find this specific Heartless, beat him up. All right, you get some money and you learn a new ability. And if you do all of them, you can get faster movement or whatever. Combat-wise, that would be interesting. Of course, this is coming off the top of my head. I don't know how great that would be implemented and whatnot. I saw it story-wise.
I pressed my mute button so I didn't burp into the mic. I was like, oh, God.
Yeah, you scrambled for that. Story-wise, I don't know how we would want to go for it. Honestly, I would say use KH1 as like references. So like limit form, you can point at, here are the Disney worlds we went to, here are the Princesses of Light that we saw and whatnot, and that's how we get our powers, limit form. But at the same time, you need to know like little points of, hey, Sora became Heartless. Hey, this is what happened with Riku. This is what was Ansem and all of that. You need to know those points. But at the same time, it would be either a side quest or like, hey, if you collect all these Ansem reports, you'll get a little small cutscene like it would show in a chain, kind of.
Quick side note.
Yeah.
You know what form makes absolutely no sense to me? Rage form.
Yeah.
Sora doesn't get angry like that.
No.
Like
that's always thrown me off.
I almost wish that it was like it was a
anti-form. I can understand
because anti-form was the remnants of the fact that. And now this is the weird part, but it was explained on the Ansem report. But like, because Sora technically shouldn't have had a body.
Yeah.
Because Roxas had the body.
Yes.
And Sora's heart was heartless. Like it had darkness around it. So when Kairi hugged him, he gained a body from somewhere. Like his body just
materialized
which makes no sense. Like it's a massive plot hole.
Yeah.
Which wasn't thought about because
Nomura
hadn't thought about Roxas yet. He hadn't thought about the nobodies yet fully. Or he had, and he's just a crazy man. Anywho. So, I'm about to sneeze. It's still going to come up on your mic.
Yep.
Anyway.
You loud man, you.
I am. I tried to hold that back so much. But, like, there's stuff like that. So, like, I understand anti-form because it's like the Heartless fighting to gain control of the vessel again.
Yeah.
Which then the vessel should technically disappear once Roxas is gone.
Yeah.
So technically, I don't know why anti-form would be a thing, but it's because his heart because he had become a Heartless.
Mm-hmm. Which is again another way of say in my case, hey, this is what happened in 1. That's how you get Antiform. Thank you for pulling it up. I did actually think about Antiform at all because I forgot about it.
Got you, buddy.
But story wise, I don't know how I would go with it since I'm using mostly the combat of 2 FM rather than 3 or anything else. I don't know how I want to do story. Honestly, and ideally, with everything
Story
that's
might have been a little bad. To
presumptuous
throw in there
to throw in.
for the question. But I mean, basically, like, I guess I should say, you just let Nomura tell the story
yeah.
because he does write a good story.
He does the story really well. Honestly, if you came to me and said, "Hey, what would you like to see it come out of the story that you've seen out of any all of the games and whatnot?" I would like to see sort of the same thing that happened with Days, where Days you worked more the actual story for Days, not the movie for Days.
I know.
Well, gameplay. The gameplay.
Can I just say, I'm really upset that they chose to do Days the way they did.
Yeah, I
like
when I found out it was like that,
I
just hated it.
They gave us a movie for it.
I'll say the gameplay is not the best, but it's good.
But Days was an amazing game. I don't care what anybody says. That was an amazing game. It was pretty spectacular. I enjoyed the crap out of it. And we got recoded as we got Chain of Memories as playable.
And Recoded was a movie.
And Recoded and Days were both movies.
Yep.
Days, people crap on Coded.
Days was so good.
Days was amazing. We can skip that one for now. I don't think anybody's going to argue with Days being an amazing game. But people crap on Coded. But the boss fights were all unique.
See, I never got a chance to play Coded.
I might still have it at my parents' house.
Ooh, wow.
But so I'd have to give you my DS. I have my 3DS somewhere, so it won't bug me. But yeah, it was a fun game. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was unique. I had people complaining "Oh, this is so dumb. Why am I fighting boss battles like this?" And I'm like, because it's different, and it was originally a cell phone game.
Yeah.
In Japan.
Yeah, people forget that it was a cell phone game.
It was only released in Japan.
Yeah. Honestly, going back to story-wise, if I could set up how I would like to see story, whether it be new stuff, revising how stuff was in the past, but just have, more nobody stuff. Whether it's with the organization, how the organization deals with the mindless, quote-unquote mindless nobody. So like the gamblers, the assassins, how they control them and whatnot.
You know what would be an interesting fan theory that we could develop and figure out ourselves? What happened when the masters had their hearts removed? Because they had strong hearts.
This is true.
So they technically should have had nobodies. Technically, they're stronger than... I would think that they're stronger than Xehanort. And Xehanort could split his heart into 7 vessels, while also still maintaining a heartless and a nobody.
Okay, I have a follow-up question on this.
So, which he did have to cheat. He had to cheat through time to make that happen. But not everybody, they even say in the Kingdom Hearts universe, there's only one good guy that's ever used time magic. Maybe 2 that we've seen, I think. And correct me if I'm wrong. Because it's only Aqua is, I think, the only good guy that's ever used time magic. Music, haha. Only used time magic, and that was when she does her time splicer form.
Oh.
And that's the only other person other than Xehanort who's used time magic that we've seen so far.
Yes. I mean, sure, there's sure to have stuff happen behind the scenes that they've yet to tell us. Unchained's probably going to be the first place that'll tell us about it,
and it'll be hidden behind a story that is way too hard for the amount of medals that you can get on a free-to-play account.
Yep. So I have a follow-up question. Now, this is not up to Nomura. I don't think it's entirely up to Nomura to decide. How old is Maleficent? If we're going along with the lore of all of the Disney movies, Maleficent's where that is kind of set in the era. If you're comparing that to current Kingdom Hearts, she could have been another strong heart.
Do you understand that Mickey turned like 90 something this year?
This is true.
Mickey technically turned 90 something this year through how long he's been a character as like Steamboat Willie.
Yeah.
So Maleficent.
The only reason.
Well, and Maleficent. I guess I don't know. I guess Maleficent has shown teleporting magic.
You keep saying music.
I keep saying music
The reason I bring up Maleficent
because
is
melodies of memories.
I hate you. It's because
Mom!
it's because of all of the darkness and heartless that she works with, but it's also like, of course, the story of Maleficent, all this and that with Aurora is of course why she leads to darkness, but it also makes me think it's like there's more to it than meets the eye with Maleficent.
Well, and she might be somebody who could technically use time magic. It would just not be Keyblade magic.
Yeah. Also,
So she might have a way with her weird fire magic bullcrap
her
that
dragon
she's been
stuff.
able to do that. But that's the other thing is she can transform into a dragon.
Dude, she's a dragon slayer.
Not the line I was going down. I won't dismiss it, but not the line I was going down. I was going to say she technically could have been a dragon who's learned how to polymorph.
Yeah, that's another thought I've had.
At which point in time, dragons live for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Because she was not alive during the Keyblade War, the original Keyblade War. She was not.
Okay.
Well, she might have been. She might have been, but she
Those
found
worlds-
the data world that they created,
Oh.
which had the dandelions.
Okay, I understand you now.
So she found the data world that had all the dandelions in it,
Okay.
and the data of other people. Because like technically, your character doesn't become a dandelion, but they
That's
still
still the story.
exist within the story.
Okay. 'Cause-
As data remnants of themselves, and the only ones that aren't technically data are the dandelions.
yeah, because I had mentioned Unchained earlier, and that's why I've thought of Maleficent, because Maleficent shows herself in Unchained.
In
and
the
she-
data world. Yep.
Yeah, but it's also the fact that
She found a way to transport through the data world without having to use like machinery, like because Ansem the Wise was the reason Recoded happened.
yeah. But then again, it's also the fact that in between the time between Disney worlds does not continue. So it's theorized that as soon as like you finish, say, the world that Maleficent is in, as soon as you leave and re-enter, no time has passed.
Mm-hmm.
Although it could be hundreds of years.
But think about it like this too. In science, with a black hole, the closer you are to the event horizon, the slower time moves for you, but the faster it moves for people outside.
Okay, fair.
Gravity has an effect on time. So if you have a massive amount of gravity like that. So scientifically there could be BS that's happening. But do remember this is also a world where magic exists.
True.
And not like magic in the way of like it's unexplained technology. No, it's magic.
Yeah.
So
Also, random question: the magic, quote unquote magic, that both Nobodies or organization and Maleficent and her Heartless use, that's the teleportation. Is that just the power of darkness, as well as Ansem uses with Riku? Because I've had thoughts
No.
about that. I have no idea.
because it is used in Kingdom Hearts Key or Kingdom Hearts Dark Roads to open portals to in between worlds. But light. There's a light version and a
yeah, I
dark
know
version.
Okay.
So it's a power.
Okay.
It's a portal spell.
Okay.
Which of course you're not going to ever use in the game, and Sora's never taught, which is really dumb. But here's the thing, I think it was lost to time. I think the organization found it because I think Xehanort found it, but I think Ericus saw, because I think it exists in Dark Roads.
Okay.
I think Ericus saw it and saw that it was bad, like he didn't like it. And so he took the development of the armor and found ways to use the Keyblades to remorph themselves into like little spaceships
Okay.
to go around.
I was gonna say, then how does Dark Riku know about it? And it's because Ansem.
Yeah, because Dark Riku is just the embodiment of the darkness that was separated from his body when
Yeah.
Sora fought him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how does that explain for KH2 Final Mix Riku? Because he can still do it.
He's still that was because of the temptation of darkness.
Okay.
He was worried about the temptation of darkness, that if he allowed himself to use the darkness, Ansem would take over his body again.
Okay.
And so when he took off the bandana to see it, to get Roxas to stop being such a little, he decided like to take that loss because of how much he loves Sora.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to ship that, or you want to say that they're brothers, I mean, you
Well,
do
more
you.
than that.
You do you.
Cousins.
I think that they're very brotherly in that aspect of like, I mean, I think about that like with you and me. Like, yeah, this is something that could be like life altering, but if you're gonna die on the other side of it,
then
then I might as well go for it because like I care about you as a friend and brother.
Aww.
That's the only time you'll hear it. Clip it, boys. Clip it.
Aww.
Anyway. But
Loser.
so he did ouch. So he did that. And then Sora brought him back because he sat there and Kyrie's like, look into your heart. And so once he knew it was Riku, by the power of the whore's heart, he brought back Riku. If you guys don't know, there's a running thing where I just have said that Sora, his heart is a whore because he lets everybody in.
I forgot about that. So that threw me off more than I wanted it to.
I'm not wrong, though.
You're not. But, geez, Sora, you get around.
I know when he was like 3 years old, he had a heart in him.
Don't, no.
Think about that.
No.
He was 3 when his heart accepted Ventus into it.
Ven, you creep.
He was 3 to 5. Yeah, he was 3 because he was 13 in Kingdom Hearts 1. And Birth by
Jeez,
Sleep was
you're
10
right.
years before. He was 3.
Dude, he
that
was a-
kid's heart was so strong, but he couldn't become a Keyblade wielder.
Dude, that was
on
a
his
big
own.
kid at 3.
Oh, yeah, it was 3 or 4.
Still.
Yeah, no, he was
I mean,
Riku was like, look at how well behaved Riku was. Like, how bad were his parents? Like, how mean were they to him?
I mean, I was just gonna talk about Sora's big head of hair. He still has the big same hair.
No, he did. But yeah, so I think that answers that one for you.
Yeah, that became a tangent upon tangent upon tangents.
My turn to answer the question.
Yeah, I was just gonna say a quick synopsis.
Yeah.
Gameplay would be Final Mix 2 with some improvements from 3 movement wise, and then story would be sort of in the ways that Days had. So you had a lot of stuff with nobodies in the organization and how the world worked with all that.
All right. Very good. I enjoyed it.
All right.
Now for me, I would have a mix of 2 and 3's movement.
Yep, including
Because-
chain, where you go through gates to different worlds, not the card combat.
No. I hate that. The Chain of Memories as a whole, gameplay wise, is trash. Fight me. Not an unpopular opinion.
You're right.
An unpopular opinion is me saying that 3 was good. That's the unpopular opinion.
You're right.
I know. So a mix of 2 and 3, so we can have people stop and quit their about the movement style between how 2 is so good and 3 so bad, or 3 so good and 2 so bad. Find us in the middle ground for our movement. Then take the form aspect of 2. So you have to unlock the forms. But to utilize them, you have to utilize them in the way of Birth by Sleep or 3. So it's not Keyblade based as it is in 3. It's just the fact of you have your regular attack, magic, item, summon.
But you have
Gauge.
to upgrade it over as time goes on, or
That would happen too, yes.
Okay.
But so you have your general like attack, magic, item, summon, grade of fighting. But you have to use certain spells. So if you want to use this ice finish or this ice form, oh my gosh.
Spellbringer from Aqua.
It's not Spellbringer. She has one that's Diamond Dust.
Yep.
That was the Keyblade's name. I don't think that one was actually in Birth by Sleep,
It
but
wasn't.
anyway, the Diamond, like that Diamond Dust idea.
Yeah.
That I think it is Diamond Dust. I might be wrong. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. The frozen, basically having a freezing ability, which it wasn't Spellweaver, but if you use like a lot of magic, so if you use fire, then water, then ice, then arrow, you're gonna get, and you hit your form boost because you've had that much of your combo go, you're using Spellweaver.
Yeah.
Then, if you use fire while you're in Spellweaver a bunch of times to get up to your next combo, you're using a second tier fire form. So you have the form tree from Birth by Sleep with all of those forms, but they're not based around command decks. They're based around utilizing your abilities and your magic. So that way it actually properly, and it could be based on what you have equipped a little too. So if you have a Keyblade that has a slow, like it has slow on it. Say they've added a slow ability, right? Or Haste Saga. Haste Saga would be great. So Ultima has Haste Saga. And so you're using Ultima and you have Haste Saga and you're using normal attacks. The form it takes you to first would be whatever base forms there are. Then the second form could take you to a Time Splicer form because you're moving faster than everyone else because you're accelerating.
Ooh.
So that would be really cool because then you have to utilize your abilities. You could still change your Keyblades to the 3 Keyblades that you have, just like 3.
Okay.
Or you're using shortcuts in different magic to use different tiered up to a tier 2 or tier 3 finisher. Just like how they had, but so I'd take what they had in 3 and I'd push it a step further by saying using these abilities, this magic, these items will help you to use these things, which would also push to have stop, would push to have reflect, because reflect could make a shield.
Yeah.
You could be like a turtle with a bunch of shields around you, and like when you press defense, it just makes like this turtle shield. Oh, dude, it's so cool. Custom forms Kingdom Hearts.
Okay, so what I was going to ask you is, would you be willing to bring back all of the magic that has been in all the games? So
there's no reason it shouldn't be in every single game.
So, but it also goes with not just because it's Disney and whatnot, because Mickey and The Apprentice, but I was also seeing all the magic and level up magics from Final Fantasy, so you can get up to Zetaflare if you get up to that point, not just because Donald.
No, I think you should get to the Agas.
Okay.
Which is tier 4.
Yeah.
We should either get to the Agas or the Agas.
And
probably the Agas, because in all honesty, with how broken magic can be in those games, you don't need anything more than that. Plus, the way that magic works for Sora, it works differently than it does for Donald.
Yeah, yeah.
So because he's not a straight mage.
Yeah.
Now, if they made Kingdom Hearts Key an MMORPG,
where you could choose between a tank,
where you could choose different classes, yes.
Yeah. I
would agree with you.
At that point, I would say, like, you get a mage, you can do reflect, you can do barrier, you can do all of this.
You can also do them sooner.
Yes. The other question I would say with this idea for gameplay, are you willing to add back in stop and gravity?
Yes.
Okay, because
I don't think when they implemented gravity in Birth by Sleep, there is no reason that stop and slow should not have been in 3.
Yes.
Or even in 0.2.
Yes. But with adding gravity and going with the route that you have for magic. So you get your Form 1, you get your Form 2.
Let me throw this in real quick.
Okay, because I have a
Instead
science
of gravity,
add to this.
Keep it magnet. Where magnet is basically gravity, it just doesn't decompress them down to the ground.
Okay.
It pulls them into one central location.
Okay.
That change I'm super okay with.
Okay, we'll keep that. But it's essentially the same. Say if you're doing something that's based around magnet, Form 1 is whatever form. Form 2, you have say a form called Black Hole. Form 3 is just the Void, and it's a field wipe.
You are going to make me so I'm going to have to, and I just don't think that I'll be able to. Oh my God.
You're welcome.
I don't know how those bleeps actually fit in, but that would be glorious.
And see, you could kind of go along with the same thing. Do magnet and ice and have a freezing nova.
Yes. Well, and that's the thing. But that's the other thing, too, is so if you're in magnet first form,
Yeah.
you use a lot of ice, you could either have a hybrid class so make it a 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
50-50 that they
I
go
was going
into
to say a 30-30. So you could have just magnet, just freezing, or a blend.
Yeah, or a blend.
So it'd be 33, but still.
So 33. So yeah, you have that 33% chance where you could go into either the ice form, the magnet form. Well, see, I was going to say 50-50 because it was either going to be the ice form or the magnet hybrid.
Okay. Depending on...
Which makes more sense because they haven't been using magnet again.
That's fair.
Oh, excuse me. I'm
Careful.
sorry. I burped on the mic. But you could have that hybrid come out or give yourself a better chance if you're mixing Blizzard and magnet in the same combos.
And plus, there's also the fact that you're doing two magics rather than just dependently one, so you're going to use Spellweaver.
No, because Spellweaver is a Form 1.
Oh, you're going to limit... Okay.
Well, and that's the thing. Spellweaver was only a Form 1 in it.
I couldn't remember if it was or wasn't, that's all.
But then they made it Keyblade based, and I think the forms being Keyblade based is dumb. And now note, this would take away like Valor, Wisdom, Master, and Final, and Limit. Well, no, Limit form wouldn't leave, because if you're overusing summons, which they'd have to add in more summons and be more attack summons like Wreck-It Ralph.
I forgot about Wreck. I forgot about Ralph.
A really bad good summon.
He's really good because we like him, and he also does some good damage, but he's terrible to do.
It's a hard one to use.
It's Fortnite summon.
It really is. I would have really liked to have him better implemented as a summon. I would have liked to see him as somebody who like threw people towards you and stunned them.
Okay, I just thought of something.
Or hits the ground and they fly up and get stunned. Like that was way more Wreck-It Ralph idea.
Yeah, I just had a sudden idea that I don't like. It would work great with your idea for adding more summons. Lucas films.
I still don't like.
I was going to say Marvel at first, but that's the wrong universe.
I still don't like the idea of throwing in Marvel and Star Wars. I really don't.
You said Marvel.
I said Marvel and Star Wars.
Oh, okay. Sorry,
because you threw out that. Well, they're both owned by Disney.
Yeah, they're both owned by Disney.
That's my thing. Is like I still don't like the idea of seeing either one of them, and I'll tell you because one, I think it would belittle the idea of Big Hero 6 being in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
And some people will probably be like, no, why would it do that? Think about how good of a film. One, Big Hero 6 was the best film that came out that year.
So good.
It was the best Disney film that came out that year. You want to know why it flopped? Frozen. I have never in my life seen a movie that has explained, and it might be because I haven't seen a lot of movies on it, but I haven't seen one that explained mental health in that way. And yeah, I mean, maybe it would have grown more in the box office if Hero wasn't a male. But outside of that, yeah, it was the brotherly bond, which is why it wasn't as much, because the female bond and having female characters is such a big thing. And it's a good thing because they need better representation in modern media. Because the media just doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't represent people well, especially females and people of color. They are not well represented in movies, which is why they need better representation, which is why I don't have a problem with Frozen. I don't have a problem with Frozen and what it was doing, showing that sister connection. I think that was great. So showing that they didn't really need a man, that the true love was between them the whole time. Glorious. I loved it. But the overall storyline of Big Hero 6 was a better storyline.
I agree.
So even if you had to change the characters, it does not change how good that movie would have been. Them changing the characters to be whatever gender they needed to be for it would not have made that a worse movie.
Yeah. I was just, more than anything, like summons wise and everything, I can understand if like you throw in, hey, if you get this specific summon, this person's in the background. It's like a support trophy, like you would have in Smash. Or hey, you're doing any gummy missions. There's a random chance that you see the Death's Door. That's literally. It's just literally, hey, here's an image in the background. That's it.
Well, and the other parts about it are that if you're doing those things, and they throw out, you use a Han Solo summon, and then next thing you know,
then that's a part of the universe. And
when Sora goes to doing his next thing, right?
Yeah.
When Sora moves to that, doing his next form, maybe he has a blaster gun, and maybe he has a special ability called, I shot first, which would be a meme. But I mean, because in the original, Han did shoot first. Which I could go into a character development about why it's more important that he shot first and why changing that actually belittles his character. But this is a Kingdom Hearts podcast, not a Star Wars podcast.
And I wouldn't be here if it was a Star Wars podcast.
I know, which makes me sad.
I'm sorry, buddy.
It's okay. It's because of the Vertigo and Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
If we could get past those things, I know you would probably actually enjoy it.
If we can get past the Vertigo, I'd probably enjoy it.
Yeah, you probably would, because Harrison Ford, like...
It's not in it that much.
He's not that... I mean, he's in the original three, but that's it.
All that matters is Jar Jar.
I don't have a problem with Jar Jar. I think that he was very necessary for the story. I don't think that he should have played all the parts that he did, and I think some of the things he did belittled the story, but there needed to be a character like that in the story to break it up and make it better for younger audiences, to be broken up from serious into funny, serious into funny. Very much like how Macbeth had the drunken guard about halfway through, because it broke up the seriousness of the play. So yes, I could get into a theater minor literary discussion about why that was important, but that's about my main point on it. So anyway, that's what I would do for my Kingdom Hearts game. And in all honesty, we can save the next question.
I was just about to say, what are we at
for
right
the
now?
next time?
What are we
because
at?
we're at about 40 minutes, and all we have to do is talk about how we're doing and how
we
we've
can talk
been.
more about the game stuff, because I'm actually really interested in now.
Well, I think we should just go through our weeks real quick, and then we can go back to it.
Yeah.
So we take a little bit of a mind break.
I'll take you a mind break.
Thank you. I almost said thanks, Dad.
You're welcome, son.
Oh,
The ages are reversed, but we're going to ignore that.
yeah.
And this has been a normal conversation with Sando. I'm not joking, it really is.
I really think if they, and there might be a Kingdom Hearts hack out there, but that was my favorite part about Birth by Sleep, was the forms. I hated the command deck, but I loved the forms. And with Kingdom Hearts 3, they brought back that idea of forms being like that, which also meant it wasn't tied to his clothing, which was weird. But they gave you that freedom of having these forms, but it was tied specifically to his Keyblade, and as a Keyblade ability, a keychain ability, right? Because they're technically keychains.
I was going to say, for the form changes that are in Birth by Sleep, or at least, what's the other game that has linking in it? Is it Dream Drop that has linking in it? So no, Birth by Sleep does. I can't remember, because I know it's not.
I think 3 has
Is
linking.
I didn't think. I had a feeling 3 had linking, but I wasn't 100%
3 has
sure.
two things. 3 has summons and it has links.
That's true.
Because it doesn't have forms.
Yeah. That you're right. I just remember linking being so much in Birth by. It's like, if you ignore this, you're going to have a lot tougher time.
Anybody that does a run in
Birth by
Sleep, if they're running Ventus or Aqua,
it's
there's only
all links.
one link you need.
Yeah.
The other ones are fine, but there's only one you need.
Yep.
Mickey.
Yep.
Because when you get to the Twisters, you throw Mickey out every single time, double EXP.
Yep.
Quick level grind. You get like on Proud Mode. I think I was doing it on Proud Mode for stream, and I went to the Twisters to grind on Ventus or Aqua when I was finally going through theirs. I think it was Ventus, because I don't think I got to Aqua's story. It was when I was playing through the whole series.
Yeah.
And we were playing Vens, and I was like, I'm not high enough level yet. I'm high enough to get to this point, but I know how bad the fights are going to be. I want to be over leveled for them because Kingdom Hearts. And I went and I think I grinded for like half an hour during stream, and we went up like 15, 20 levels because of the Mickey D Link.
I'll be 100% honest. I forget about links every time I play Birth by Sleep. Just because to me, it comes across the same as summons, which I don't touch summons unless I have to do it for 100%.
They're so much better than summons.
And I agree.
Because you gain abilities.
They are so much better than summons. But I always, in my brain, I treat them as the same as summons, so I forget about them and I push them off.
I understand that.
I was supposed to ask another question. I just forgot what it was.
And with that way of doing it, you could still keep summons and links in the game.
I know what I was going to say.
I'm just saying, I think that is the best Kingdom Hearts. Like, if there's a Kingdom Hearts game or Kingdom Hearts hack out there that has custom forms, and I don't mean like playing as Aqua and you get forms for her.
I was going to say,
because that does exist.
Yeah.
There is an Aqua hack where you play through as Aqua and you have Aqua's forms.
There's also one for Ventus as well, but it's a little bit more broken because it's basically, hey, as soon as you start the game as Roxas, you can sometimes soft lock because it's the same character model.
Yeah, because it's Ventus's, or because it's Roxas's.
It's Roxas's.
It's very close to his.
It's very close, except for a little couple minor differences.
Face.
Yeah.
He has the face of Sora and the hair of Ven.
And then as soon as you leave Tutorial Town, you're already OP because you've gone through so many level ups at that point.
Yeah.
So it makes the whole game super easy.
At that point, but I'm just saying, outside of those where they're hacks of different characters, so they had to make different forms for those characters, having a Birth by Sleep hybrid with Kingdom Hearts 2. Oh my god.
That would be amazing.
I think that would be the perfect combat system.
So I have a quick question for you, which I don't think I've actually asked you. Outside of podcast wise, I don't think I've genuinely asked you this. What's your opinion on the Dream Drop Distance creatures?
The companions?
The companions, the Pokemons.
They were alright.
Okay.
I didn't have a, need to collect them all. I thought it was weird that they were recipe'd up.
Yeah.
But I didn't like that they were a synthesis recipe. And I thought they were a little weird. And that it was very tough to get ones that you liked specifically.
Yeah, you would find one and it's like, oh man, that one's really cool. I'm gonna get
and then
that.
You look at the guide, because this is when guides were still a thing, kids.
Yep.
And you look in the guide and you're like, what kind of hot garbage?
It's like,
what do you mean I have to go to the final world to get
something,
a 5% chance to get this gem so I can have the T-Rex?
Yeah. Or so I can get this one guaranteed, I can go to this world so I can get a guaranteed drop of this, or otherwise it's a 1% chance I get this from any other enemy just to create something from the beginning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I didn't like that part. I thought it was cool. I don't know. It's kind of like the same idea of I've defeated a Shadow or a Neo Shadow or a Commander, and now they are my friend. Because you killed the Nightmares to make the Dream Eaters.
That part I enjoyed.
It was kind of a cool dynamic. But I would have liked to actually see them in 3. I would have liked to see Nightmares in 3. That was the only thing. That was the only faction that wasn't represented. Was the Dream Eaters and Dream Eaters were.
The Dream Eaters were,
but Nightmares were not.
Correct.
You had Unversed.
Unversed is what I was thinking in my head because
you had Unversed. You had Heartless, and you had Nobodies.
Technically, you had Dream Eaters, but that was because of the Bow Wow summon.
Yes, the Bow Wow summon was the only reason why you had them.
Which is not a good summon. It's an okay for the first couple attempts, and then after that, it's not good.
# most summons from Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
I think I used every summon once.
I used every summon 4 or 5 times just so I could set a high score that I can never touch ever again.
You didn't need a high score to finish Jimmy's Journal. So
no, you didn't, but I just felt good about getting a really high score. So the next time I ever touched it, I'm like, how the heck did I do that? I don't ever want to try again.
Wreck-It Ralph's was such a letdown. I remember seeing it in the thing, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. And then, actually trying to do it, I was like, this is hot garbage.
I did like how you got Wreck-It Ralph during Toy Story.
Toy Story? That was very fitting.
I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed Toy Story more than I thought I would, honestly.
I only wish that they could have gotten Tim Allen and them back for the voice acting for it. That would have been really nice. I don't think they actually did for it though.
No, they didn't.
They used like the Toy Story 2 voice actors.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like most of the original Toy Story actors are dead, and I hate to say it like that, but like Piggy's gone. Tom Hanks is Tom Hanks. He's here and there.
Tom Hanks is still around, and so is Tim Allen.
So is Tim Allen, but it's like you're lucky.
Tom Hanks was Buzz, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because
Like-
Tim Allen was Woody.
Yeah, like you can get a couple people here and there, but like a lot of the older actors are gone
Well, I mean,
now.
it's just like with Robin Williams, rest his soul.
Yes.
Like, I would have loved to have him in Kingdom Hearts for Genie, but even when he was alive, he wasn't voice acting for Genie.
No, none of
They
the,
grabbed the voice actor from Aladdin 2.
yeah, they've never. Robin, I think at one point thought about doing Kingdom Hearts, but I think it was more of he didn't know anything about it, and he was just like, "Hey, do this voice of Genie, of,
Yeah, right.
of Genie," and he's like, no, I don't know what's going on." And if he had taken it, his name would have been put in with all the stuff. It would have been more for his portfolio, but at the same time, like he knew nothing about it.
No,
and I don't blame him.
that's not really fair to throw him in like that for it.
And the only reason people throw him in for it is like, hey, you did the original voice of Genie. We would love for this. Yeah. And he's like, dude, that was like maybe 15, 20 years ago, man.
Yeah, because he didn't get called. Well, and I don't know
I don't know when Genie actually came out. When did Aladdin come out?
90s.
Okay.
It would have been about 10.
It would have been
about 10 years. It would have been between 7 to 10 years.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Because I think that Aladdin came out in like, I want to say I think it came out before 95.
I was going to say 92 or 93.
Yeah, I'm not going to look it up right now because that's a pain in my butt, and I'm not going to. But
and your butt doesn't.
I know
anything.
it was. I think it came out after I was born, and I was born in 93.
Okay.
Well,
I know it came out before I was born.
Yes, it did.
Because I was 97.
You know what? Two Disney movies that they should add that they haven't. That would be really good.
Princess and the Frog, or whatever that one's called.
Okay, I guess there's 3.
I'll be honest. The setting of that's really nice to be in Louisiana.
I'm just mad because that's not what I was thinking about.
Sorry, buddy. Well, it gives you another
movies.
I was gonna say because that gives you another princess.
It does.
Old
movies.
I'll
let you have a guess at one of them.
So how old are we saying for Disney?
One of them is my favorite Disney movie.
I don't know it. Well, I was gonna say
actually they're probably my top 2.
Because the first one that came to mind was Robin Hood, the animated.
That is my favorite Disney
movie.
I
was thinking that was.
So Robin Hood would have been a very, very good. Also would have,
I'll be honest.
Here's the thing. The side part is you could have pulled in some furries on that one. Let's be honest. But the other part is that's such a good storyline.
And at the very least, at least blend it with like Winnie the Pooh. It's like, oh, hey, we met this friend over here.
Yeah. And that would have been cool. The second one, Fox and the Hound.
Ooh, I was going to say Sword in the Stone, but you have Merlin for that one.
Sword in the Stone would have been another great one to have the full world for.
That would have been amazing.
But
think of Sword grabbing Excalibur.
Think of him he wouldn't be able to.
He wouldn't be able to.
He'd try to do it.
He'd try to, and Goofy would get it.
No, it would still go to...
It would, but Goofy would try.
They would all try. It would be funny because they would all mess up. It would have been a funny moment. But Fox and the Hound, which would have given another Lion King style world.
There would be a new character style form and everything. That would have been interesting.
You would have been like a fox, and you would have had to run through the woods and stuff like that.
Or you could do Aristocats.
Also, was thinking about that after I started talking
because you would be going through the city.
I mean, an Aristocats and a Dalmatian world, both instead of being melded with, Traverse Town, they were already there.
I was going to say, you kind of get that with in Birth by
Traverse Town or
Traverse Town, yeah.
Traverse Town, which is what I said the first time.
Yeah, I was going to say, you kind of get that in Birth by Sleep when you go to Cinderella, because Ven is the size of Jack Jack.
Yes, which is really cool.
I like that. He doesn't change his character model, but he changes his size.
His size, yeah, which was very neat. And then, those would have been the ones I would have thrown in.
I was going to say other ones, but then those were Pixar, and those aren't Disney.
Toy Story is also Pixar.
Okay, I was going to say
Shrek would have been funny.
No, Shrek that's been made in too many memes.
Get these kids off my lawn! Get out of my swamp! Sora, get out of my swamp!
Wally.
Oh my god. I would have That would have been like the Lilo and Stitch from the 10 years earlier in Birth by Sleep.
Yeah.
Like that would have been so cool.
It would have been a mix of like Tron and Lilo and Stitch.
Yes, it would have.
The other idea I had was like Treasure Planet and Atlantis.
Except Treasure
Not Treasure
Planet
Planet.
was owned by DreamWorks.
Yeah.
Atlantis, I think that was that Disney? I think it was Disney.
I think it was Disney. There's another one.
The Lost, because it was the Lost.
It was the Lost City of Atlantis. I think either Disney made that to begin with or they bought it out. One of the two. But like the obscure, like really good Disney movies are just like Pixar.
So it was Atlantis, the Lost Empire.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to IMDb
Okay.
to find out who owned it.
Okay. But like the obscure and like Disney movies that everyone enjoyed but kind of just forgot about because time and everything. And even if they don't super hold up or there have been remasters of stuff here and there, they would be interesting even at the very least for like little cameos, whether they're summons, whether they are, an NPC that you talk to in like Traverse Town or something.
Atlantis, the Lost Empire was owned by Walt Disney Pictures.
Ooh.
So that one should have been in Kingdom Hearts. I do agree with you on that.
I was gonna say like that would have been a replacement for Pirates because we've had Pirates in so many of them.
Well, Pirates only been in 2 of them.
That's already so much. We can't say anything for Hercules because Hercules has so much to it though.
Hercules has been in
4?
every single game.
Yeah.
All 13 of them.
Yeah.
But
But it points at new stuff each time.
I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying it has been in all 13. They just also have the luxury to pull from the Greek and Roman mythology
This is
to
true.
also supplement the stories, like Tournaments of the Underworld.
Yeah.
That's not that wasn't a real thing.
No, but it helps.
Also, DuckTales
Ooh ooh.
would have been an amazing world. What was the one with the bears that flew planes?
Oh, Tailspin.
Tailspin. Another great one.
That kind of to me that feels along the lines of Timeless River. No, only
God, how old do you think I am?
no, I'm not.
My life has become nothing but dust to you.
Hey, I grew up with it too. I'm just saying because I don't know how that would play out in a world.
I think that would play out. I think it would. I mean,
It would be all
it could play
airspace.
out like new pirates. It could play out like pirates in Kingdom Hearts 3 because we have the rendering software to make a 3D version where they can go on missions and have to do flight stuff.
Okay. Well, here's another thing. There's
If they
also
can make me do boat mechanics in freaking Kingdom Hearts 3, they can give me flight mechanics in other ones.
so going back to the idea of Ventus being small, the size of Jack Jack in Cinderella. We can do the same thing with Sora and crew and do the adventures of Chip and Dale.
Chippendale
Rescue Rangers. You could do a line of that, or you're hanging out with Gadget and all the other ones because like
Do you
Gadget's
see
the only
me arguing with you. I
Gad-
also want you to know we need to hold on to some of these because
dude. I just want to keep
you want to
talking.
know what the second question was?
What?
If you could add anything to Kingdom Hearts, what would it be?
Dang it! That's what the last
That's what we've
one.
been talking about for the last 10 minutes.
It's
So I think we can talk about it more in the next one. So this is a preview. But we're at
preview.
about an hour.
Preview. We want more stuff added.
Anyway,
End of preview. This has been
Wait.
Sando.
by the way, just really short, if you're still paying attention, you're still watching. Both of our weeks went very well. We've been very busy with
Oh
work.
yeah, I forgot about that.
I wanted to talk about it because I feel like that's an important part about our podcast to not burn ourselves out.
Too bad.
We've been doing good. Good things are going on for both of us. We'll try to talk more about it at the beginning of next podcast because I just wanted to try something different because I know some people are probably coming just for the Kingdom Hearts aspect. So I was like, well, we'll try going in between, but it's like, I had a really good question.
Yeah, and I feel like we can add a couple more questions to ask each other too.
And I think that would be a great idea for me to put on my notepad and let you do that for the next episode.
Yeah.
But that being said, we hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you guys follow us on social media.
My ear
Links are
itches.
down in the description. Join the Discord. Links down in the description. Have a great day. Not down in the description. In your actual life. This has
Sando,
been-
down in the description. Help, I'm trapped.
This has been the best Kingdom Hearts podcast, not in my mother's basement. Organization 2, brought to you by Kilomes and
Sando with numbers on the end of my name.
And we hope that you guys have a great and amazing day. Have a good one. Adios.
See ya.